Alright, Clue the movie. You're already laughing.
I'm already laughing.
You're already laughing. We
Okay.
just started. We just hit the record button.
So Clue, what year? 1980.
1985.
That's what we've just watched with Tim Curry, Eileen Brennan, Madeline Kahn.
Yeah.
Do you have any of
Brilliant.
What a shit show! What an absolute shit show! So why did we watch this movie?
Because I adore this movie. I've watched it probably like 18 times. Grew up with this one. Love the board game, and that translated into my passion for this movie.
I will say I was shocked by
Are we peaking right now? The gain is all the way up. What the fuck?
I gotta get both of our voices.
No, but we're peaking. It's gonna sound terrible.
No, it's not gonna sound terrible. Okay, do you want to start over? Hold on.
No. It's just gonna
all
peak
going in.
for the
This is all
first
going
minute.
in.
Alright, fine.
Fuck it.
Alright, so you were saying that it's a shit show.
I was saying it's a shit show because it all happens so absurdly fast and all over the place. And like we mentioned and talked about multiple times while watching the movie, they'll just be in the middle of a conversation and then they'll cut to do a physical comedy bit and just go right back into the conversation like it didn't happen. And it had like the physical comedy of like an Ace Ventura film, but nobody reacted to it, and it felt weirdly real because of it. Because like shit like that happens in real life where somebody like Professor Plum, no, Mr. Green, he sits on the desk while the butler's just giving his speech or whatever, and he just totally destroys the desk while sitting on it and fucks everything up, and everybody looks at it for a second and then just goes back to it.
He believed that you were all thoroughly un-American. Sorry. For some reason, he felt that it was inappropriate for a senator to have a corrupt wife.
But I feel like that's real. Like, shit like that happens in real life, and you just act like it didn't happen just to not embarrass the person. And it feels like very dry, like in the humor.
Movie is very dry. I think this movie seems like it was written to be like a murder mystery put on the stage, like an Agatha Christie play, but like kind of like a sex farce, like a British like. Everything.
A what?
A sex farce, right?
What is a sex farce?
A farce.
Oh, a sex farce.
A sex forest? Jesus Christ.
What is a sex farce?
I go hiking to the sex forest.
What is a sex farce?
A sex farce is like where a lot of farcical humor happens. Like a lot of like different physical comedy happens at like the same time. A lot of things are happening like the.
Oh. So
but,
yeah,
but it's kind of horny.
So yeah, let's before we get into the sex forest, like we have to.
Let's get deep into the sex forest.
Hey, look, a talking tree.
I can do more than talk.
We have to kind of describe what happened. So it's based on a board game. So obviously they had no story really to work with. You said Agatha Christie before, and that definitely works because. She did like Murder on the Orient Express and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of those where it's like an ensemble cast. We also liken it like Knives Out and stuff like that.
Yeah, like a whodunit.
Yeah, it's a whodunit. Classic whodunit. Like it's literally a board game all about it.
But the source material is kind of what makes it fun.
Yeah.
And
they had
like
nothing to work with. But they had nothing to work with but silly names, and then they just ran with that. They were like, okay, so it's we have Colonel Mustard and Professor Plum. And Miss Peacock. Like, what do you do with that other than a heavily, like a whodunit with a lot of slapstick? Yeah,
it's stylized towards pretty whimsical elements. Like the music doesn't take itself seriously. The performances are kind of over the top.
Because that's how the movie starts. Like just a full like Tim Burton score over clouds. And then we get like a shot of. Don't we get a shot of the mansion next?
Yeah, it's like a matte painting.
Yeah,
and so like the.
Butler's rolling up to.
Well, see, I think the mood of the whole thing is like, pretty, like I think whimsical and like theatrical.
Stop playing with the dog.
Well, I can't help it.
Judy, chill. Oh my god. Yeah, it's very whimsical. So we come in through the whimsy of the music and the matte painting, and the butler enters and starts introducing all these random characters. They're all using aliases. We don't know why, and they don't know really either. They've all been invited through mysterious letters.
Okay.
They sit down, dining room. They do the whole thing, and they find out they're all being blackmailed, and they're all like from DC in some form or another. You know.
So coming into this movie like totally blind, like
right.
So you didn't know who Wadsworth was. You didn't know Tim Curry's character, the butler.
No,
that's not an original like character in the board game.
Indeed, no, sir. I'm merely a humble butler.
What exactly do you do?
I buttle, sir.
So,
I haven't even played the board game in like years.
I
haven't even played the game in like forever.
I also love the game.
I forgot about was it Mrs. Scarlet?
Miss Scarlet,
yeah. I didn't even remember her from the board game.
So you're not a true fan.
I'm not really into the lore of Clue. Yeah. I couldn't really get into it.
That's fair enough. There's a whole lot of story. You make the story. You have to discover who killed Mr. Body, where, and with what.
That was stupid.
No,
that was
you
really
liked
stupid.
It.
No, Mr. Body is so stupid. Okay, I'm going to break down 3 things there. So the idea of having the name as Mr. Body is so on the nose. I think it reflects a lot of the comedy in the movie.
That's like an original character. Like I think when you get like the instructions in the game of Clue, it's
just a body.
Mr. Body has been found.
Oh my god, I didn't even.
Yeah,
know.
So that's
part of the lore.
That's part of the lore. Yeah, you see.
And then Mr. Body,
we're peeking like crazy.
Also being like the. I'm probably peeking. You're far away. There's no way you're peeking.
I'm screaming. I get very excited about Clue.
Yeah, I can tell. You get excited about Clue like I get excited about Under the Silver Lake. Which both are whodunits in a way, but we'll wait to talk about that.
But one is way better than the other.
Yeah, one is way better, that's for sure. So they all come in, and then Mr. Body comes in, and he's like a Robert De Niro lookalike. Like,
ladies and gentlemen, may I present Mr. Body?
What are they all doing here?
Eating dinner. Do sit down, Mr. Body.
Thanks.
He's got the pointed nose and like the kind of beady-ish eyes a little bit, Gesundheit, and the slick back hair.
Yeah, he's a mafioso for sure. But but instead of carrying around like guns and cannoli, he carries around like wrenches and lead pipes and shit.
Right. And then they are all like, you're all being blackmailed. And Mr. Body's the one blackmailing you. And obviously everybody's like, oh, you're an actual piece of shit. And he's like, ha ha ha, you can't do anything. I'll expose you in court.
It just leaves Mr. Body.
What's your little secret?
His secret? Oh, hadn't you guessed? He's the one who's blackmailing you all.
But let me give you these weapons.
But yeah, so they go downstairs, and then he gives out weapons in gift boxes.
I got a gift. And then Wadsworth is like, okay. And then they each get the reveal. When they open the boxes, they get the signature weapons from the game of Clue.
The dagger, the rope, the lead pipe,
and people like me who like the lore of Clue.
Yeah, really respected that. I know that. I know the gun.
I know what weapons are coming
next.
Oh
shit!
And then you open the box and you get this nice trumpet and it's like. Yes, that's the revolver.
That's the revolver. That's the gun. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's so over the top.
Yeah, and then he's just like, okay, so yeah, he gives out the weapons. It's over the top as shit. And then he's like, you guys could just kill Wadsworth, the butler, and then none of you will be exposed to the police. Or not, to everybody. I'm just going to turn off the lights, and one of you can do it. And he turns off the lights, and when he comes back on, he's dead. And that starts the whole...
Or is he?
Yeah, of course.
Spoilers.
Is he
Spoilers
dead?
From here on out.
Yeah, spoilers from here on out, pretty much, at this point. But actually, no, before we get into the big spoilers, I want to go back to the dining room scene just to mention, what exactly they were eating.
They're eating monkey's brain.
It's
a signature DC dish, apparently, which is...
I don't buy that for a fucking second. They were eating, clear soup They had like cranberry juice in the glasses, and then at one point they're eating like marshmallow salad.
Marshmallow salad. That's delicious. That's the monkey's brain.
Yeah, that's the monkey's brain.
But,
it was
okay, so
bizarre.
So what
It's
did you
like
think?
white mush.
So pretty early on in the movie, it does some really just ridiculous things that kind of break the tension, but also make it more tense because it's so awkwardly presented. So the gag where they're all slurping the soup. What are your thoughts on the?
It's so bizarre because the slurping is so loud and everybody else is like freaking the fuck out. Like the people that aren't slurping the soup, like Colonel Mustard and them, I think it was one of them. He's just like, "What the hell? What's going on? They're eating soup!" Like they've never seen anybody eat in their life. Speaking of acting like you've never seen anything like it before, let's talk about the character of the maid very quickly.
I've never seen anything like that before.
Jesus Christ! So the maid. The entire purpose of her character is that she's just like the French maid archetype. The very skimpy outfit and just like very, like she has a, what do you call those? A corset or what the fuck ever on. You know, the things that like you tighten around the body. So her breasts are like just completely out.
They're just out. They're almost out all the time.
Basically shaking. She is finding reasons to jump around and move.
Well, I told you before we started the movie that was her entire character.
Yeah.
You didn't really want to believe me.
I mean, it's insane. It's insane how much it's used to just be haha, get it? She has big tits.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like
that's
the joke every time she's in it.
All the characters are introduced in the dining room scene.
Oh my god!
They all just like look at her boobs.
Yeah.
And she's like.
Sometimes she's not even in frame, and you can tell that they're just staring.
Well, the only thing that's in frame are her boobs. Like her head is entirely framed out. And then you have Christopher Lloyd like pressing his face up right against.
He stares at it like once or twice, and then finally she comes around to like placing something down in front of him, and homie literally closes his eyes like he's falling asleep and laying into him. It's insane.
Heavenly pillows or something.
Christopher Lloyd's character, Professor Plum, is just a straight on pervert. Like literally takes any. Dude, the scene where so they're looking at the blackmail against Colonel Mustard, which is he was in like a brothel, and you know they've got picture evidence of him there, and Miss White is the one looking at the photos and goes, "You can't get somebody in that position." And Professor Plum says, "Yes, he can," and grabs her, tosses her on the couch, and lifts her leg up before she's like, "Get off of me."
He says, like, "Watch this."
Yeah, it's like
Nobody can get into that position.
Sure they can. Let me show you.
Get off me.
what?
Let me show you. Let me show you.
Oh my god!
So let's talk about each character.
Individually, now that we know basically what the story is.
Well, yeah, I think we should talk about like each character and their performances individually.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, they're trying to write these like parts around again
board game
characters.
Board game names, not even characters, like names and drawings, basically.
Yeah.
Being like, what would this guy be like? What would this girl be like? And I think it's very interesting that they took Professor Plum and said, this man is fucking horny to death. Like, that's all he is. That's all he wants.
He did one of those things with lady patients that doctors shouldn't do.
Yeah!
Why? What did he do?
You know what doctors aren't allowed to do with their lady patients?
Yeah?
Well, he did.
Oh, how disgusting.
That's the blackmail, is that he was fucking his female patients, which is hilarious. Like, that's the blackmail. That's, like, the horrible thing that he's done. When he works for the UN, you know what I mean? Like, people that...
It's a bad look.
Yeah, have been, like, okay with war crimes in the past.
Professor Plum, you were once a professor of psychiatry, specializing in helping paranoid and homicidal lunatics suffering from delusions of grandeur.
Yes, but now I work for the United Nations.
So your work has not changed.
Him having sex with his female patients is... There's a lot of weird political shit in this. You know, we'll get into that later, but...
So, like, the political ties in this movie are... Like, the way it tries to weave the
when does it say it's set? Because it starts and says...
1954.
1954, yeah. So... we are, you know, just getting into the Cold War, basically. You know, Cold War is going on. I mean, arguably, probably a little bit longer than that, but... and there's a lot of jokes about communism and, like, socialism. And it's so fucking bizarre. It feels like the writers are, like, winking at the audience every time they make a joke about it. because like the butler, the thing he was being blackmailed for was that it was his wife and him, right? Or was it just his wife?
Both he and his wife
were socialists. They were socialists.
Well, everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, that's the perfect line to say. Like, and he breaks down in tears afterwards. Nobody else has that powerful of a reaction.
I was a victim too. At least my wife was. She had friends who were socialists.
Oh my God.
Well, we all make mistakes.
You know, one of them is literally being blackmailed for the possible murder of her own husband. And she's just like, oh yeah, I don't fucking care. Miss White's like, I don't give a shit. And then he's like, we were socialists, and he fucking starts sobbing. His wife killed herself because of like
she was outed as a socialist.
Yeah, that's insane. It's so bizarre.
Well, the writers were certainly socialists.
Well, they just do absurd things constantly in the script. Like the levels of violence that like escalate in the film just get to a stupid degree. Killing, okay. Alright, let's get back to the characters before I get into heavy spoilers.
There's a lot to talk about.
Okay, so got Professor Plum. He's a pervert, you know.
He sure is.
You go to Miss Peacock, and she's just this older lady who has a politician husband, you know, so she's this kind of like debutante, Southern Belle type, who's also just talks way too much and is fucking hysterical. Like, constantly screaming at the drop of a hat, freaking out about every single thing.
Her first line is something like, well, I'm a hostess, so, you know, I don't know what this party's about, I don't know you people, but I'm naturally determined to entertain myself. Yeah. And the rest of them are just like,
what the fuck?
Well, she's going 110% right now.
Yeah, it was funny, because she's just talking, she's like, oh yeah, I guess I should be the icebreaker, you know, whatever.
But her performance is so nervous that it's pretty funny.
Yeah, listening to her talk is like an onslaught of words, and everybody else is reacting kind of that way. Like, they're all like just staring at her with like wide eyes, like, holy shit, this bitch won't shut up. Like, that's what everybody's reaction is to her.
Well, someone's got to break the ice, and it might as well be me. I mean, I'm used to being a hostess. It's part of my husband's work, and it's always difficult when a group of new friends meet together for the first time to get acquainted. So I'm perfectly prepared to start the ball rolling. I mean, I have absolutely no idea what we're doing here, or what I'm doing here, or what this place is about, but I am determined to enjoy myself, and I'm very intrigued, and oh my, this soup's delicious, isn't it?
Well, I think they're all kind of over the top in their own degrees, right? I think, like, Miss Peacock is my favorite because like she's just so jittery all the time, and like you see that when she is wrestling with her hat in that one scene where they don't know how safe they are, they don't know who's in the house, and like her hat is falling down, and she just like keeps
she keeps like fucking with it.
Yeah,
that's great.
Like all of her moments are so big and like just flamboyant, and I think. She nails her performance in that like excited old woman.
She kind of drops in and out of the movie. There are parts where she's just not super present, but every time she's in it, she's pretty funny. She has that line where it's near one of the endings, but what did she even say? She was like, "How did you? Oh my God!" It was like so weirdly casual, and everybody else felt a little stilted, but. And like it's intentionally stilted a little bit because they're all playing like such cardboard cutouts. But there we go. But her character just felt a bit more natural. Like she was able to improv a bit more than some of the other characters were allowed to.
Oh yeah, I really do love that moment where. She does the physical comedy very well too. Where she gets is screaming after she thinks she's been poisoned, and then she really nails the slap take, even though like the actress like slapping her like it's pretty fake, like across the chin or whatever, like theater humor or like theater slapping that wasn't framed right. But she really like leans into it when she gets slapped, and then like the aftermath, she's just like standing, she's just like taking it all in. They're all like watching her.
Yeah, that was like straight out. Did the Airplane come out before this?
It was around the same time. I think Airplane might have been like 84.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, I can't help
Slapping
but think
women
of like
humor,
this,
man.
Yeah, like everybody just in the line in Airplane, like waiting their turn to like smack the shit out of her. And, like some of them had like pipes and shit like that, but you know, she was slapped by Mr. Green, who is the next character.
I have to stop her screaming.
Yeah, I had to stop her screaming. He's played up to be this little nerdy wimp boy who's completely submissive.
To meet Mr. Body? Oh, you must be Mr. Green.
Yeah.
Sit! No, not you, sir.
Like constantly, he's just like made out to be this milquetoast dude that is just completely ineffectual and harmless. And then it turns out that the blackmail that he has is like, oh, he works at the FBI, but he's gay. You know, he's a gay man.
Breaks tables all the time.
Oh, and he's accident prone, so
Yeah.
he constantly is like fucking shit up. And that's like some of the physical humor that'll happen. Like he'll just trip over something or just break something in the middle of a scene, and everybody will.
Well, he's a ragdoll at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah, he's just getting the shit kicked out
When
of
Wadsworth
him.
is solving the mystery, he's just a ragdoll because he just lets it happen.
Yeah. So
Very
while the
submissive.
butler's like recreating all the events, he's just pummeling
And
this man.
we'll talk about that scene later because it's
it kind of brings it all home, and
does.
it's exhausting.
It's
It's horribly exhausting.
I've seen it so many times that I just don't remember what it was
It
like.
felt like
the
a
first
Stanley
time.
Kubrick like film near the end there, like where I was like, "Holy hell!" It just goes on and on. Like I felt my soul leave my body when it.
Well, like
I can't get into it because
we'll talk about it in a second because it is a lot. There's a lot to talk about in Clue.
Right, so then Mr. Green,
Mr. Green,
and then Colonel Mustard is a
beta simp.
He's a beta cuck bitch boy,
beta cuck, war
who's
criminal.
just dumb.
I stole essential Air Force radio parts, and I sold them on the black market. That is how I made all my money.
A war criminal. He's just very stupid. He's supposedly just like a trust fund kid who just only got his money from like his military career, which he got from like his parents' influence. And he really doesn't have like a ton to do. Any joke that he has is like, oh, he's stupid. Yeah, he's
like,
not.
He's
not
just
super
like
interesting.
he's like.
What? Are you trying to make me look stupid in front of the other guests?
Don't need any help from me, sir.
That's right.
Pretty far behind, and like
Christ,
all
he
of
has
it-
the worst jokes. Now that I think about it.
What room's this?
Search me.
Right?
Get your mitts off me.
Like most of his jokes that cut up scene, because there's, like you said, there's a lot of jokes that just break the tension or like break it up, but can make it feel like, you know, something happens, then a joke, then another joke, and then something happens. It feels like a lot.
I mean, his performance is like, I think he tries. Like Martin Mull's performance is okay for his material,
Right.
But like, yeah, Colonel Mustard's whole thing is like he's just like kind of far behind.
The fucking search me joke where they're like, oh, it's Miss Scarlet with Colonel Mustard, and they're looking in a room, and Miss Scarlet says, or no, Colonel Mustard says, what's in the room? And Miss Scarlet says, search me. Yeah, as if, like, I don't fucking know. Yeah, and then he feels her up, and it's like, oh, ha, 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 we get it. He's so dumb, he took it literally.
Did you know that
Wow.
Martin Mull,
Yeah.
something else, you might have seen of him in Arrested Development, he plays Gene Parmesan.
Really?
That's
That's
his
God.
other. He's
Gene! He said he wanted to tell us in person.
Don't get up. I just defined the supplies because I'm a private detective. Gene Parmesan, how are you doing?
Ah, Gene! Oh, Gene, isn't he the best?
Gene was far from the best.
Very impressive.
Thank you.
Holy hell,
I
you
peaked.
definitely peaked on
I
that
peaked,
one.
I peaked.
He peaked hard on that one.
So did Martin Mull peaked in this movie.
Yeah, oh, Christ, I hope not. His performance is alright.
Yeah.
I'm ragging on him a little bit.
But
He just doesn't have a ton to
The
do.
character is not super great.
He probably has like the least development, like least going on out of all the characters.
What was his scandal? His scandal was that he
the
just
brothel. He was seen at a brothel. He was photographed at Miss Scarlet's brothel. Or like
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. But Miss
Oh.
Scarlet is a prostitute. Because like they're all.
And I think she's a pimp.
Oh yeah,
I think she's a
well
pimp daddy.
she's both. She's both. She's okay. So when they're all you know, in the dining room, they're all the... It's actually a pretty good scene. They're all dancing around, like, directly revealing who they are to one another, but they each keep letting things slip, like, they catch on to the fact that Miss Peacock's husband is a politician. They catch on to the fact, well, Colonel Mustard, you're also from the D.C. area, you know, you're probably still military, you're working probably at the Pentagon, and they kind of piece that together. They piece together, like, you know, slowly that Professor Plum is a doctor, but he's not practicing anymore, you know, and he says, well, I work with family development with the UN, and, like, they slowly are, like, finding out that each one of them has some sort of related field in D.C., and Miss Scarlet has a vague answer of, like, oh, yeah, you probably know me, you just don't, like, recognize me.
You're not going to mention the coincidence that you also live in Washington, D.C.?
How did you know that? Have we met before?
I've certainly seen you before.
Or remember me. And it's clear she's an escort. Like, she's a call girl. She's a very, like, you know, one of those mistresses that kind of bounces around between, like, married politicians and events and shit like that. So when it's revealed that, like, oh, you know, the brothel that Colonel Mustard was found at is like, oh, it was her brothel or her girls. It's like, that's kind of, you know, there's some intrigue where things get wrapped up.
Yeah, so in the effort to make this board game a cohesive movie, they have tried to, like, have these touches of, like, political connections and stuff like that, but it's not, I think, overbearing and overcomplicated to where, like,
but
it takes you out of, like, you know, just the stupidity of, like, the situation they're in.
Well, I forgot about some of the stuff that they brought up, because they bring it up a lot later on in the movie, like,
because, like, the first act is all, like, tying all those, like, characters together.
Oh, Miss White. We didn't talk about Miss White.
Yeah, we did not.
So Miss White, because this is important, because it's one of the things that
she uses men like Kleenex.
Now, how many husbands have you had?
Mine or other women's?
Yours.
5.
5?
Yes, just the 5. Husband should be like Kleenex. Soft, strong, and disposable.
You lure men to their deaths like a spider with flies.
Flies are where men are most vulnerable.
Right.
Right, she's a black widow, you know, she marries men and then possibly kills them, or they just die soon after, you know, and the recent husband was found dead in his home with his head and his cut off. That's how they say it in the movie.
He was always a rather stupidly optimistic man. I mean, I'm afraid it came as a great shock to him when he died, but he was found dead at home. His head had been cut off, and so had his, you know...
and then all the men crossed
all
their legs.
at the same time, all three men, like, and that's part where I was like, oh, that would have been great on stage. That would have been funny as fuck. And it's like, it's super old style humor, but it's funny. It's like a fucking barbershop quartet is gonna come out, you know, and start singing. But
well, they did sing Jolly Good Fellow.
But yeah, seriously, oh god, that was so bizarre. We'll get into that later. Yeah, never mind. Hold on. So she's very cagey, you know, she's very vague. And you would not understand the situation I was in. You know, she's very brooding. Will you chill out?
I'm eating pretzels.
Get the fucking pretzels out of here. Peeked all over the recording.
I just destroyed our one listener's ear.
Yeah, no kidding. Me in the editing bay. I'm not editing this. Seriously. Man, what was I saying? Miss White, okay, her husband was a nuclear physicist, you know, and it's also hinted at later on that, oh, you know, his disappearance was involved with some secret project, and that Colonel Mustard was also on a secret project looking at the fusion bomb. So that mixed with, like, the socialist jokes and things like that, like, it's kind of like, oh, this is some Cold War stuff, you know, like, there's more political intrigue as far as that's concerned. But, oh, God, okay. I don't know. I don't think... Do you have anything else to say before we get into spoilers? Because what I have to say next is going to get into some spoilers.
Oh, I already said spoilers ahead, like, at minute 6.
Okay, heavy spoilers. There are 3 endings to this film.
Yeah, there are.
And the nuclear physicist secrets barely factor into one of them. To where it feels like some of the stuff was added in the movie was such, like, a giant red herring that it's kind of funny. Although... Okay, so what happens after, you know, Mr. Body Found? They go to the kitchen because they're like, oh, the crazy cook. The cook, holy shit. The cook is like this giant Himalayan woman
Well,
who's like
don't assume her mountainous region.
She looks like a Sherpa, like a very burly Sherpa, and she's threatening as shit. And like I said,
I was just throat singing really well.
She's completely silent except for like threats, you know.
Everything all right, Mrs. Ho?
Dinner will be ready at 7:30.
And like dinner will be ready when it's ready. And she
the gong.
Yeah, and she gong like hits
Dinner.
the gong super loud to like fucking freak everybody out. And she's tossing knives or something like that at one point, to where
or she's like sharpening her knife really
right.
honestly. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what it was. And she comes off like a character from Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide, you know?
You did say some Nickelodeon shit.
Yeah. She was some Nickelodeon shit.
It is cartoony, anyway.
Right, like the whole movie is, but like her especially felt out of place. Anyway, Cook is dead when they come in there. She's fucking dead.
I didn't do it! Somebody help me, please. Somebody help me, please!
Stabbed in the back in the freezer, yeah, and they're like, what the hell? So now there's 2 dead bodies, but when they come back, Mr. Body is gone. And they're like, what the hell? He's gone?
Look! What? The body's gone! Huh?
What are you all staring at?
Nothing.
Well, who's there?
Nobody.
What do you mean?
Nobody, that's what we mean. Mr. Body's body, it's gone.
And they go back out in the hallway, and there's a couple other things happen, not super important. And then Miss Peacock is screaming because Mr. Body is like attacking her. But it's just his dead body that fell out of a closet on her. So now he's dead again.
No, he's dead.
Mr. Body, dead again.
And then they kind of bicker and argue some more and kind of like pick at each other until a dude breaks down on the side of the road and shows up at the mansion. Like, can I use your phone? And they let him in reluctantly, and they're all just freaking out because they're like, oh my god, he's going to figure out some weird shit's going on. And he's going to figure out we have 2 dead bodies here. And then like right as the guy he's broken down, he's on the phone, he's like, there's a lot of people here at a party or something.
I forgot they split up.
Oh god, does that happen before that?
Yeah.
That right, they all split up into pairs, which is very weird. Because it feels almost entirely pointless. Like just all Scooby-Doo shit. Nothing but Scooby-Doo shit.
Oh yeah, well I think it's fun. I think it's like I just think it's fun. I like seeing these characters interact. I think that they play off each other pretty fun.
Yeah, because
the pairings are like Mr.
Scarlet
Green and Yvette.
Yeah. So the maid.
And they all have these different bits of like not wanting to go into a room before the other person. That's the only
everybody's afraid of the dark.
Everyone's afraid of the dark, and then nobody wants to go into a room before the other person, and like
they're all trying to catch each other, like while they're looking.
That's the only variation of comedy in all the Scooby-Doo shit, but it still works every time.
But even there's Scooby-Doo shit in. Oh my god, I can't believe it. We skipped over a part here where just before they all go split up, they realize, Mr. Nobody's dead. A second time, and they're like, okay. And the
Mr.
butler...
Nobody, like the Jared Leto movie?
Yeah, Mr. Nobody. Sorry, Mr. Body is dead again, and they're all freaking out, and so Tim Curry, brilliant performance as the butler, stands forward and says...
We're trying to find out who killed him, and where, and with what.
And that was amazing. I'm glad that...
You clapped.
I did clap because I was very happy that this movie about Clue the board game would tell me...
A callback.
It's a very good callback. I wasn't expecting him to reference the rules to the board game.
I clapped when I saw it.
I was surprised how much was actually taken from the board game, like the use of the secret passages.
Yeah, right.
It's whatever that they use, like the names and like the different weapons, but using the secret passages was kind of funny. I didn't think about that.
Here's another cool little clue
on the
Easter
board.
egg.
On the fucking board. They used the layout of the board.
They did use the layout of the board. It's the same.
Yeah, I gotta see if it's
like
actual
rooms, like the order of the.
Looking this up.
The order of the rooms on the set is the same as the board game.
No, it's not.
It is. It's pretty cool. The layout of the house is the same.
Same as
Oh my god.
board.
You asked Google
game.
like
I'm asking
in question form?
Yes.
Oh my god.
From a board game to a no. It's not. You're lying. See,
not.
I looked it up and it says no.
Look at the board.
No, see, that's Clue the Office.
No,
the Office edition.
Type in like Clue board game.
Okay, Clue
board, and then
Clue board game.
Then
board.
think about the layout of the house. It's the same.
Think about it. Okay.
Yeah, the geography is the same.
Okay, I mean like. Okay, here we go. Where's the entrance? Because in the movie it's like a big entrance hall, and then like multiple rooms are connected to it. I can't read that. I can't read. Okay, here we go. This is okay. Where's the entrance? Where's the entrance? Jesus,
hall?
Have you ever looked at this? This is like such a shitty Clue. Like not a shitty Clue. This is like a shitty house. This is a poorly made house.
It is a very poorly made house. I wouldn't want this house.
What the fuck? Okay, so this is it. So this is the entrance to the okay, and they do kind of go back to it's similar. It's not like the exact. No, it's not the exact same.
It is the same
because they go in like on the right side in the back to go to the kitchen, and it's on the left in the board. So, bam.
I don't think you ever see them go no. The dining room's connected to the kitchen.
No,
it is. Because they open the little the window and
no, I'm glad that they really stuck to the deep lore of Clue.
I told you,
it's not something I can really.
You
appreciate.
gotta respect the lore.
You do have to respect the lore.
I think somebody, the writer, Jonathan Lynn, he
played the game over and over again. Yeah, he just fucking slept with it.
He loved this game, and he wanted to make a play about it, and then realized that
that's not gonna
he's going to make more money with a movie, and it just wouldn't work as a play.
Did this make any money?
I think it flopped. I think it flopped. You want to check that out?
Yeah, I'm checking out the numbers on this.
But it's a cult classic.
That's movie language for it fucking flopped, and nobody watched this shit.
That's right.
Yeah, and normally got poor reviews when it came out. Box office of Clue. 1985. Is that correct?
Okay, so
that's not terrible.
What was the budget?
Yeah, what was the budget?
Wait, wait, no. It says on Wikipedia the box office is 14.6.
The budget was 15. Oh, it didn't even break even. That's sad. This movie cost $15 million.
It all went into the house.
Do you think it was okay? But in cases like this, normally with houses. Weird. It normally is like a producer's house or something that they
this
just
was probably a set.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
They built it?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yes.
So do you think like the black marble and like the hardwood is that all fake?
Probably not the hardwood, but the black marble.
Jesus. So is it in a real house? Did they just change the interior?
No,
this is a pretty fucking intense house. There's a lot of expensive shit in there.
Well, I think the upstairs is separate from the downstairs. Like those are two different sets.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then the layout of the house is very specific to the board game, so they probably built that with that in mind.
Right.
And then you have to spend like days and days and days and days shooting in this location.
Right.
Like that's the one set. So you probably are building it in mind.
Yeah, I guess
like production. So I think it's a set for sure.
I guess, taking that into account, you kind of have to forgive its breakneck pace, because if you stop in any one room for too long, the audience is going to get wise to we're just stuck in this house the entire film and nothing's happening. Like literally nothing.
What do you mean? 6 people die.
Oh yeah,
nothing's happening.
So yeah, that's right. Let's get back into the plot of the movie here.
All over the place.
So we come back. They split up, and during their split up, the guy that came in to use the phone is killed just as he's about to reveal that one of the guests he saw was his old boss.
Yes. The funny thing is, there's a whole group of people here having some sort of party. And one of them is my old boss from...
They find the body. They go, oh my god. It turns out
he gets smacked with a wrench.
He gets smacked
pretty hard.
Yeah, that's it. I can't talk, dude.
We'll edit it out.
My brain is rotted. I'm not editing any of this.
It's 11:45.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty hardcore. I stay up late. My mom lets me stay up late. My mom lets me stay up like really late, dude.
Is he allowed to stay up late?
don't use my mom's real name. Jesus.
I doxed you.
I'm editing that part out. Holy hell.
I doxed you.
What the fuck? What's wrong with you? Holy shit. Oh man. This man, you know what? No, I'm not gonna dox you back. I'm a better person than that. That's basically what this movie is also about. Like people trying to dox one
secrets.
another. Yeah, like exposing secrets. Yeah, so it's
like
good
your mother's name.
Yeah,
I want to say your mother's maiden name and then
yeah, but chill. I don't want to have to actually edit too much of this. Goddamn. That's insane. Just chill with the personal information until after the podcast, and I promise I'll give you
for Patreon fans. You can
if you donate $1,
get his first pet and the name of his school.
For $5, you get my social security, and for $15,
$15
you get my fingerprints and a photocopy of my asshole. You can get both unique things about me. Every wrinkle in the rind.
That's a sweet deal.
That is a sweet deal. That's a really sweet deal. So please join the Patreon now for Movies and Manifestos.
Is that what we're calling ourselves?
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. That's the title. Because speaking of Manifesto, no, God, I can't get into the Manifesto stuff.
Here's an ad break.
All right, we're back from the ads. We don't have any ads because we're not sellout. We actually got offers from HelloFresh, and we got offers from.
Can we use these names?
We got.
Can we use these names?
Chic, Hydro. They tried Scentbird. I'm trying to think of any other sponsors to just poison it. Bet DSI.
We have that.
If they're still around, I think they scam people.
The one
Blue Chew as well. We said no.
What about that company that uses like the really like kind of scandalous and provocative like ball cleaning? You know,
ball cleaning.
Yeah, like they just like
Squatch, Dr. Squatch.
Just really like talking about cleaning balls.
Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, Dr. Squatch. And I said no. I wouldn't use your soap on my balls. Even though that's what they want me to do. I'm not going to do it. I told them no. Balls. So he said, yeah. No, I'm not cutting any of this out.
Right.
No, I gotta make sure. I gotta poison one or two more ad relationships so the audience knows that we're real. We care about the movies, and that's it. MeUndies. Okay, yeah, fuck MeUndies. Not gonna take that money either. Amazon, Audible. Fuck that.
Ooh,
too bad.
Don't let Jeff Bezos hear you say
Jeff
that.
Bezos. Fuck Audible.
Oh my God! Don't say that.
This is a movie podcast.
Yeah, but Alexa's still right there.
Fuck Netflix. You know what? No, I'm not gonna say fuck Shudder. If Shudder wants to sponsor us, Shudder's dope. I'm gonna sell out for Shudder. That shit's pretty tight.
We're losing so much revenue right
now. Oh man, goddamn! How are we gonna?
This is the worst ad break I've ever had.
Our seven viewers, our 3 viewers. That sucks.
Well, that's a bold assumption that we're gonna get 3 viewers.
Yeah, 3 viewers. I'm gonna see.
But at least they know
At least these 3 people know that we're not sellouts. And we care about the movies. Speaking of which,
Speaking of Clue.
Back from the ad break. Oh God! So, does anything happen before like the next 3 killings? Oh yeah. So a cop shows up. A cop shows up because he found the. A what?
And there's a sex party.
There's a sex. So the cop finds the man's broken down car that just got killed, and he shows up at the house, and they freak out.
Good evening, sir.
They like lock him in a room for a second. The FBI calls, and the cop picks it up because he just happens to be locked in the room with the phone. And
there's this scene that I like. It's like the cop just asks him to use the phone, and then Tim Curry's like, "Well, you can use the one in the study." No.
This body
in the lounge. No.
Yeah, this is pretty funny.
The library.
That's a great Tim Curry impression.
Thank you.
I
know. I'm so
my
good
impression. It's pretty good too. It's like, oh heaven. I'm sorry. Okay.
Ask me if I think that was a good Tim Curry impression.
Was that a good Tim Curry
No.
impression? Oh shit. So while the cop is there, he's like, he picks up on some weird shit, and he gets locked in a room. When he gets let out, he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And Mr. Green's like, "I assure you, it's all above board." And he shows him like some of the empty rooms, but then the cop's like, "I want to see what's in those rooms, like the rooms with the bodies." And everybody else is like, kind of run away, and Mr. Green's trying to stop him. He's like, "It's much too shocking." And the cop tosses him out of the way, and he runs in the room. And
how do you how do you describe this scene?
And they're having sex. They're stimulating sex with the dead bodies by pretending like they're doing Weekend at Bernie's, but pretending that the bodies are groping them and like having active intercourse, like porking each other.
Yeah,
so like Miss White is
Mr.
like
Body
porking Mr. Body, and
she's like moving his elbows up and down.
Yeah,
like,
to make it
with her hair
exactly. And the Colonel is making out with the cook while Miss Peacock puppeteers the cook's dead fucking arms around
the shot
him
where
with a knife still in her back.
Yeah, where Colonel Mustard like
opens her eyes,
manipulates her eyelids. Yeah,
it's so fucking weird.
It's not all that shocking. These folks are just having a good time.
As if she'd be like making out with her eyes closed. Yeah, fucking Colonel Mustard's a freak.
Yeah, that shit was so goddamn weird.
And then
sex party, and the cop's like, "Oh well, I'm not that prudish, ha ha ha."
Yeah, Mr. or Wadsworth comes out.
And the only like non-white person in the movie is the cop. You know, and he immediately, like, right after that scene gets killed. It just really fucking
But
funny.
he didn't get killed first.
No, he didn't get killed first, but this isn't a horror movie, so that rule doesn't technically apply.
Well, it's kind of a whodunit, and I don't see too many black people in whodunits, actually.
No, true.
There was the guy in Knives Out, though. What's his name?
Keith Stanfield, or whatever,
in
Atlanta. Atlanta's pretty good. He's in that,
anyway,
and he was in Get Out.
But this cop was black.
He's also barely in that. But anyway, no. So, like, the cop, is like, he's trying to get, it feels like Get Out, especially when he first comes in, because everybody's like, all these, like, weird-looking, rich white people are all, like, staring at him and gawking, and he's like, what the fuck is going on? In his, like, fancy-ass house, it felt like they were about to, like, cannibalize him at points. It was very strange. But then, like, right after that, he's like, okay, I know something is up. Okay, it's just a sex party. So he's like, all right, I'm just going to go make one final call.
See, he gets away with, like, they all get away with it,
They get away with it. They do get away with it.
Because, like, the sex party, like, scheme, it just works.
It works.
It just works every time.
He just believes it for some reason.
Yeah, and then Wadsworth comes out. He's like, I can't, like, I don't know what to say. He doesn't know how to explain himself. And then the cop's like, oh, there's nothing illegal about this.
Yeah,
and
this is America.
And then Wadsworth goes,
Officer, you're too late. I've seen it all.
You have? I can explain everything.
You don't have to.
I don't.
Don't worry. There's nothing illegal about any of this.
Are you sure?
Of course. This is America.
I see.
It's a free country. Don't you know that?
I didn't know it was that free.
are you sure?
Yeah, it's like, this is America. You got freedoms.
It's a free country. I didn't know it was that free.
Yeah, it's like thinking that the cop is just like, hey, you can fucking murder people. I don't care. That was a funny joke. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Then right after that, he dies.
Hello? Are you there?
The cop gets killed right after, because he goes to make the phone call.
Somebody turns off the power. They split up again. Somebody turns off the power, and then people die
left and right.
All like 3 murders very quickly. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, so you have the cop getting bashed over the head as his call is cut, and then right after that, the maid Yvette is like talking to somebody in the dark. And, like, clearly conspiring with them, you know? Like, oh, they know each other and
She drops the bad French accent.
Yeah, and she drops the bad French accent, which is so bizarre to me, because it was clear that, like, a few people knew Yvette, but nobody was calling on the French accent.
Did anyone recognize you?
They must have, and not just my face. They know every inch of my body. And they're not the only ones.
It's you!
somebody kills Yvette with the rope. And then... And then a knock at the door comes, and there's a singing telegram at the door, dancing and singing.
So quickly,
it happens so fast. All three of these murders are back to back to back. So, boom, headshot to the police. He's fucking dead. And then, boom, Yvette gets strangled to death.
And then you hear a ring at the door.
Ring at the door, and then
everyone stops.
And the singing telegram goes on for about 2 seconds before just getting fucking shot.
And your singing telegram. Bang!
Bang!
Yeah.
And then they slam the door on the dead body. It's so fucking funny.
Da-da-da-da-da. I am your singing telegram.
And it makes no sense. Like, that's where it, the movie does not stop. It just keeps going.
So after that...
Like a train.
So after that, you're like, okay, I'm kind of exhausted. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Then you get into the Tim Curry model.
The final act. Because everything's gone nuts.
Everything's gone nuts. The audience is completely lost. No one knows who did it.
Yeah.
And Tim Curry has to explain everything.
Yeah.
The audience has completely forgotten everything that's happened in the movie, so Tim Curry has to explain it.
Yeah, I honestly forgot some of the stuff he brought up.
He does it in such a beautiful way.
He literally recreates every piece of the movie, running through the house.
Doing voices, doing gestures.
Very well. I know who did it. You do? And furthermore, I'm going to tell you how it was all done.
The characters did, and doing he acts the whole movie out as fast as he can.
As fast as possible, sweating fucking bullets, running from room to room. And then, when he's trying to articulate the way people were murdered, he starts just beating the shit out of Mr. Green in every room. And Mr. Green's like, will you stop? And he's like, no. And then he throws him into the fucking bathroom.
Stop that! No! Then he threw him into the toilet!
Oh, shit. Yeah, he pulls it all together, and then finally he's like, so... this is how they did it. This is how the person who did it would have pulled it off, but they don't know who it was. And he's like, so whoever's got the gun, they must have been the one because that was the last person that shot the singing telegram. The gun's missing, and they're like, all right, everybody pull out your pockets, and it's Miss Scarlet. And
she's got a gun.
And she's got the gun. Miss Scarlet was the killer, and it's revealed that Yvette was working with Miss Scarlet. Gathering blackmail because she was the one that who was really busting it down because Mr. Body was operating in blackmail, and he was not going to reveal that Miss Scarlet was a prostitute, but that she was using her prostitution ring to gather government secrets like the fusion bomb stuff that Colonel Mustard was working on, and the nuclear physicist stuff that the missing husband had been working on, and all these secrets. And but then Yvette. She had to be gotten rid of because she knew too much. So Miss Scarlet killed Yvette after Yvette killed Mr. Body, right?
Killed Mr. Body and the cook.
Right, killed Mr. Body and the cook. And then Miss Scarlet killed Yvette. And then also killed the cop who was, working with Miss Scarlet as well and turning a blind eye to the prostitution. So the black cop was a dirty cop. And then... you find out, you find all this out in a matter of 2 minutes, all this fresh information.
They throw something at you so quick.
Yeah, and she also killed the dude on the side of the road for some reason. I don't even remember if that one's explained why he died. And then, she killed the singing telegram because she was there. And the singing telegram was a woman that Professor Plum had sex with before and was a patient of his.
Mm-hmm.
Which also, you have no idea why any of this is relevant, and it's not really, because a lot of the stuff that they bring up is all red herrings, including the communism bits. Because
they loved that line so much.
That line.
You're a communist!
No, Mr. Green. Communism is just a red herring.
Well, every alternate ending.
Oh wait, are we getting into that? The alternate.
I think we brought it up before.
Okay, so the movie has 3 different endings.
Okay,
this is just the first.
So that was the Miss Scarlet ending, and then it said there's a time card. It's but what if it happened this way or something?
Yeah.
Like that.
No, you're forgetting because just before all this stuff happens, a Jesus freak shows up at the door, and he's like, "Have you thought about the kingdom of the Lord?" And they're like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And then at the end of the movie, when it's revealed it's Miss Scarlet, she's got the gun. They count bullets, and the butler's like, "You don't have enough bullets." And sure enough, when they disarm her and all this shit's going on. The police bust in. She did actually have another bullet. Doesn't matter, though, because they've disarmed her, and the police captain...
That'd be 1 + 2 + 1 +...
The game's up, Scarlet. There are no more bullets left in that gun.
Oh, come on. You don't think I'm going to fall for that old trick?
It's not a trick. There was 1 shot at Mr. Body in the study, 2 for the chandelier, 2 at the lounge door, and 1 for the singing telegram.
That's not 6.
1 + 2 + 2 + 1.
There was only 1 shot that got the chandelier. That's 1 + 2 + 1 + 1.
Even if you were right, that would be 1 + 1 + 2 + 1, not 1 + 2 + 1 + 1.
Okay, fine. 1 + 2 + 1. Shut up!
1.
Yeah, 1 + 2
1
+
+ 2
1.
+ 2 + 1.
Which was funny. That was a funny bit. And when the bullet does actually go off and he realizes he miscounted, and he was like, oh shit, I could have died.
As I was trying to tell you, there are no bullets left in this gun, you see? 1 + 2 + 1.
There, and he's like counting it back in his head, and he's like, oh yeah, 1 + 2 + 1. Oh, +1. Oops. You know what I mean? That was pretty funny. But the police captain was the Jesus freak. The police, everybody busts in, and they arrest Miss Scarlet. And then they just kind of like do this. What was the joke? Don't they do like a one-liner? Doesn't he say like a one-liner?
I think it was 1 + 2 + 1 + 1, like something like that. Like
yeah, somebody has a one-liner. It just no. That's right. The chandelier, the second chandelier gets shot, and Colonel Mustard is like, I can't take another scare, and then freeze frame on
freeze frame of the chandelier breaking.
Dumb and stupid.
Yeah.
That's it. And I thought, no way is that the ending to the movie.
I'm just a guest.
Yeah, and I thought, no way is... Yeah, he yells, I'm just a guest when the cops bust in, which is so funny. It makes no sense.
I'm only a guest.
He's so stupid.
He's so stupid. But anyway, so I thought to myself, there's no fucking way that's how the movie is going to end. Come on. But then it did something so much worse. That's how it could have ended.
I started screaming, pause it.
Yeah, you wanted to pause it to explain to me.
Why they
like
did
you were
this.
about to explain, like, your friend's addiction problem before he walked in the room. Like, you're like, hey, so the movie's about to do something,
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, where it gives us 2 alternate endings, and it stops like it's a silent film with like these title cards. Like, that's how it could have happened, but what if it happened?
Really happened?
No, it doesn't say like what if it happened like this or something like that, because it doesn't do the quote unquote real ending until the very end. But the second ending is just Miss Peacock was responsible for most of it.
Yeah,
Miss Peacock is responsible for most of it. And then they catch her on the way out the door. The cops around her. And there's a funny line. The police captain is like doing the Jesus thing. He's like, have you heard of the kingdom of the Lord? And then pulls out the gun like he's about to fucking send her there. It's like crazy.
Oh, Mrs. Peacock.
How did you know my name?
The kingdom of heaven is at hand.
But they catch her, and everybody runs out of the house to watch her being like apprehended, and the butler just goes, "Does anybody up for fruit or dessert?" And then freeze frame.
That's the one-liner. Yeah.
Would anyone care for fruit or dessert?
Yeah, and then freeze frame on that, and it's like, holy hell, what?
The audacity.
The fucking audacity to end with, oh, you want a fruit or dessert? Fuck off. But then the real audacity was putting up a final title card going, but this is how it really happened. It shows a third ending where essentially everybody is culpable. Everybody was responsible for one of the deaths.
Except Mr. Green.
Right, because everybody's responsible for one of the deaths along the way. Like, somebody killed somebody. Even the butler turns out to be the real Mr. Body, who's actually been blackmailing everybody in this ending. And he's got the gun, so it's like, oh shit, even though everybody else killed somebody, Mr. Body still has all the power here until Mr. Green, the FBI agent, he pulls out the gun and blasts him, and he gets him.
Yeah. And it
turns out that he was
straight.
Wait, hold on, damn it. So it turns out that he's an FBI agent. He caught everybody who admitted to all doing one of the murders in the house. Everybody's caught, and just as the captain's like, "Good job, Mr. Green," and he's like, "Yeah, thanks. Now I'm gonna go home and sleep with my wife."
But if you want to know who killed Mr. Body, I did. In the hall, with the revolver. Okay, Chief, take him away. I'm going to go home and sleep with my wife.
And freeze frame on that line.
Cut to shake, rattle, and roll.
So fucking funny, man. To be like, just kidding. He was so deep undercover, he said he was gay. Which is the funniest fucking thing ever. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. They would never expect it. The communists, a gay FBI agent.
Well, like, I had to pause it and explain to you about how they, like, when they released it in theaters,
right?
They randomized the reels that each theater got, and so
because the movie was not shown with all three endings.
No, they were individually, and then so like you would see one ending in one theater, and then if you talked about it with your friend, like, you weren't sure which ending you got, and so like the script kind of works where the setup could lead to three endings, which kind of makes it convoluted and like nonsensical. Because I mean, you could attach an ending to what? I'm
talking to the mic. You're rolling away from it.
Yeah, like you could like make any of these endings work,
right?
But
tossing them all together like that is insane to me.
It's pretty insane. Watching them all at once is why I had to pause it, because like the movie's over once Miss Scarlet gets apprehended, and then it's like, but wait. There's more.
Fuck.
And you're just like, yeah, you're already...
You were making jokes about there being like 7 or 8 endings, and in my head I was thinking to myself, holy fuck. Because I like the movie, but it is so nonstop, it is exhausting to a point.
Yeah.
And that's like it. And Alicia made a joke about how it was basically just like uncut gems, but like comedy. And that works because it is just nonstop. People are yelling and screaming at each other and frantically moving around, and the camera is like there's so much more camera movement in this movie than I expected. Like there's constant like handheld and like tracing people's movement all the way around a room and zooming in and out of action.
It might be too much camera movement. I really do think that the director and writer might have thought about this for theater and like just didn't really know how to block this scene.
Yeah.
Like the rooms feel too small and the camera's too big, so like you have to compensate with really awkward camera movements to get everybody.
And because it's always moving, when you suddenly stop that movement with like a jarring physical comedy bit, it feels so much more out of place, and that's it makes the movie feel so strange throughout it.
Well, you keep using the word bizarre, which I think is pretty funny.
Well, it feels like uncanny valley. Like this is not how humans act, but it's very close. It feels like an alien. You know, one of those alien-made films where it's like an approximation of how humans would kind of act in the scenario. Like it almost feels like a fake movie. You know, like
it does feel like a fake movie because you're not really dealing with real people. You're dealing with
this is Clue
Colonel Mustard.
Clue the board game, the movie. That's the stupidest thing you could ever make. Like that's something you see in like a movie's trailer, like
already,
a fake trailer.
Like at the start, this movie's a gimmick.
Yeah, it starts by going based off a board game.
Yeah, Parker Brothers board game.
And I feel like I think I said at the start of this that I was very surprised, being based on a board game, how relatively decent and entertaining it is. When you consider things like Battleship, you know what I mean?
Jesus,
yeah. With Liam Neeson
Jumanji's okay.
And fucking like Rihanna. What?
Jumanji's okay.
Oh, yeah, but it's not like a board game. Like people don't play Jumanji like they play Clue. Like I don't know what the fuck Jumanji is, you know?
But Battleship is
Zathura is pretty good. Like, movies that are based around board games that aren't, like, real. Like, when you can actually be like, oh, there's weird, cool rules to this board game. Like, yeah, what do you do with Clue? You know, they can't...
You make a brilliant...
You make a murder mystery, a
Agatha Christie sex farce.
I mean, like, it wouldn't have been as good, because we talked about Knives Out, and it wouldn't work if they were able to leave the house. Like, if this was, like, a constant, like, oh, who did it? You know, this constant intrigue where the characters are meeting up weeks later to have, like, dinner separately and be like, who do you think did it? Like, that wouldn't have worked. That would have been way too slow. There's no way you could have paced that with these cartoonishly stupid characters, because you can't slow these characters down, because as soon as you do, you see like how absurd they are. And it works in some scenes when they're doing like a lot of physical comedy in the scene.
Well, it's very contained that way, and I like that. it's probably what feels like a play, because it's all the setting doesn't change.
Right.
Like they all have to solve this murder in a certain amount of time.
Right, because they started by going, I've called the cops.
Uh-huh.
Like, they'll be here in 40... The butler says 45 minutes, the cops will be here.
So there's already a timer on it, and they're all together in one house. They can't really leave, because, like, the place is locked, you know.
Right, he's locked it all up. Which they also break that multiple times. Like, they lock things up and then break the lock, and then...
And those dogs are scary.
Oh, and the dogs outside. They're introduced, like, multiple times to make sure that you don't leave. The Robert De Niro impersonator tries to leave. And
the dogs don't like him.
And the dogs do not like him. Speaking of Robert De Niro, you know, he was in Goodfellas, Ray Liotta. He recently passed away.
Rest
in peace to a legend. Ray Liotta was not in this movie. I don't even know how old he would have been in this year of our Lord, 1985. But, you know, he would have been great in it no matter what it was, because he was a phenomenal actor.
Ray, you're the best.
Ray, you are the best. You know, a lot of people said you were a bad fella, but you were a good fella.
All right, that's my cue to leave. I'm done with this podcast.
Okay, no. All right. Okay, Ray Liotta, we love you. Rest in peace.
Do that joke again.
Yeah, I love it. It's a B movie reference. Come on. I'm a real film buff. I know the B movies. Get it? Like B? Okay, anyway. Moving on. Okay, just bear with it. Bear with it. Just grit your teeth. Okay. So, we have the 3 endings to the movie. We have all of this culminated together into one of the strangest comedies I've ever seen, where at times I'm not even sure if I thought it was funny at all. I was just perplexed by the events of it, because it's so
before
unyielding.
Before we watched the movie, I said, I think this movie tonally
works.
Nails it.
Yeah, you said it works.
And I think because like the source material is so stupid and the character names are so stupid and like, but there's kind of
it feels like an SNL sketch.
Yeah, it does, or like it just feels like a like it doesn't feel like a real movie.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it feels like you're watching a sketch or a play.
Oh, and Mr. Green, played by fucking Chuck from Better Call Saul.
Yep, great actor.
Mention that. Yeah, like there's a lot of good people in there, and he's in there as one of them. Just like really doing a stellar job. He does probably Tim Curry probably like does the best. He has like arguably the most important stuff to do in a script with all the setting up and plot shit.
The audience along at the beginning and the end.
A totally created character for this. There was no butler in the game. You know, that's the deep lore. If you want to get into the deep lore, he was like a made up movie character. You know, he was actually fictional, so it's not like in the rules. You know, so it's pretty deep lore that
I always want to play as Wadsworth when I play Clue with people.
And you get disappointed because you're like, oh, there's no Wadsworth. And it's like that's the only way you can win because like they can't say.
Yeah, Wadsworth just knows everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Wadsworth gets to look at the envelope before you play, and then you.
Oh heavens! Oh heavens! It's my Tim Curry. It's pretty good, I think. I'm gonna keep doing it. Oh God, I had something to say about Tim Curry.
Yeah, I'm running out of steam.
But overall, I'd say Clue gets a B- from me. Clue gets a B-. It's decent, but it's edited like absolute shit. It's way too exhausting at some points where I'm just like, it's just punching me in the face. I can't do all the physical comedy. Like so much of the physical comedy just does not land, and we talked about that. Where it's just it's so much it doesn't land, and when you're trying to grapple with all the plot twists and all the random murders, and you're because I was trying to figure it out, and I probably shouldn't have.
Big
but like,
mistake.
Yeah, like. But it's a whodunit. Of course I'm going to... It's Clue. Like, what am I supposed to do but figure out who did it, where, and with what, you know? So I'm trying to do that, and it's throwing all this new information, like exposition and physical comedy during the exposition to where it's a little bit too much at times. But it's still very well acted. I think there's some dialogue moments that are incredibly tight and very well written to where I feel like it did a good job of the conversation in the dining room where everybody is dancing around who they are, and yet still accidentally letting these little details slip. Like, that's a really great scene, very well written.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of really funny jokes as well in there. That, like, and we talked about this, where the physical comedy is not there, but the written humor is very funny. Like, the
it's very
like
snappy.
reference, and like the snappy, witty dialogue and characters.
But it throws a lot at you, where if they hit you with like 5 witty lines and then Colonel Mustard doing something stupid, like, at least you've gotten 5 out of 6.
But that almost deflated it for me, and that's I'll give it a B. I won't say B-. I'll give it a B. I'll get it up to a B. It's not an 80. It's like an 83,
I think
84.
B is very fair.
Yeah, we'll give it like that. It's a B. It's a B movie. It's not. It did not make its money back.
Rest in peace, Ray Liotta.
Rest in peace, Ray Liotta. This has been Movies and Manifestos. We'll catch you next time with... What are we watching next, Nick?
We're watching Clue 2.
We're not watching Clue 2.
There's
stay tuned. We'll see what
Clue 2.
We'll see what we watch next. Have a good night.